Good morning. Day 7, Tuesday, July 29th. Our final day, hopefully. It should be. We only have 10 miles to get back down to the car, Green River Lakes trailhead. At least our car better be there. The shuttle company was supposed to pick up my car from Big Sandy, take it all the way back up to Green River Lakes trailhead while we were out. And as much as I hate leaving such beautiful, incredible scenery behind, I could not be more excited to be finishing this trip, getting back to the car, getting a real meal of real food in Pinedale on the way out, and then back home to the wife and kids and get back with the family. Yeah, so for last night, Condensation City. Tent is completely soaked inside and out. It's just been misty, foggy, cloudy all night long. We were hoping for a bit more blue sky and hopefully a little bit of sun waking up or before we got out of here. That doesn't look like it's going to be the case. So we're going to be packing up everything wet and just, I guess, drying it out when we get home. But anyways, it's through a long green tunnel, just like we got into yesterday afternoon. So don't know how much more I'll be filming. Sure there'll be a few more interesting views and a few more interesting points along the way, especially when we get out to the actual Green River Lakes themselves. Look back on the other side of Square Top Mountain, which is right behind me right there. It's a really, really pretty view across the lake when we get out, if we can even see it when we get out there. Hopefully we get skies improve before they get too much cloudier again this afternoon. So Hey guys, look at me. I'm hiking the CDT. It is finished. Yes. Made it. Well, we did it. Good job, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe we just did that. It was all Blake's idea to do that trip. He got a hold of me quite early this year. I think it was back in January actually, and he reached out to me. Hey Will, do you want to try the Wind River High Route this year? And put it on the calendar, and here we are.
It's done.
It's done, yeah.
Oh.
So, my mind is such a blur right now. I don't know about yours, but so much stimulation from all the scenery and then all the physical exhaustion of the trip. It's actually hard not to get emotional right now. It's just unbelievable what we just did, and that's just the shorter, easier route. Apparently the Skurka route is much longer, or not much longer, but also much more difficult than the Dixon route that we just did. Adventure Allen Dixon, that is. And yeah, it was just absolutely grueling. By far the hardest, most difficult backpacking trip I have ever done. Make the Uinta, that trip we just did makes the Uinta Highline Trail a cakewalk in the park. And before that, that was the longest, somewhat most challenging trip I'd ever been on. I think the most strenuous trip that I'd done until this one was the Beehive Traverse in Capitol Reef National Park, back when I did that with Devin of Backcountry Exposure. And yeah, this thing just kicked that one to the curb for what we just did. If you take away Alpine Lakes Basin and that whole traverse from Alpine Pass to Indian Pass across Knife Point Glacier, the rest of the route's not so bad. Knapsack Call I thought would be really difficult, and after what we had gone through the day before, Knapsack Call turned out to not really be so tough after all. It was hard because we were already fatigued and exhausted from the previous day's work. But anyhow, any final thoughts from you, Blake? What was your takeaway from that experience?
Yeah, what an amazing opportunity. So many thoughts going through my head right now. First of all, thanks to Will. I did reach out quite early to get this thing scheduled. I knew he would say yes. And he did, and we're here. And It definitely was one of the most amazing experiences I've had. If you would ask me that a couple days ago, though, I would have told you I was in hell and wanted to get out. Even though I was in one of the most beautiful places I've been. I mean, this is some of the best scenery I've ever seen in the world. And I've traveled to places like Italy and seen the Alps there and Austria, and they're amazing. But you got some of that just right here, and it's awesome. And to walk out today and to see the Green River and the headwaters and that beautiful river and Squattop Mountain, it's just a great finale. And to kick it off with Cirque of the Towers and everything, I don't know. There's too much to say in just a couple paragraphs, but it was awesome and hard, and it pushed my limits of what my body's capable of. I did half of this with a sprained ankle, and weird enough that's my foot that doesn't feel as bad as my other one. And so your body does weird things out here, and it was interesting to see how that reacted. But anyway, lots of amazing things, hard things, good things. All of it was incredible.
So we got blisters to show it. Got achy knees, achy legs, achy shoulders, achy hips. Pretty much everything aches. I think it was worth it.
Oh yeah.
That'll be a story to tell for the rest of our lives. And
yeah.
Wow. I just still can't believe it doesn't feel real that we just did that. Anyhow, if anyone thinks about tackling this route, just know what you're getting into. There's a lot of off-trail navigation to take place, and more than that, there's some serious rock hopping, talus maneuvering, navigating around huge boulders, over boulders, some little slight bits of exposure here and there, especially getting around the final upper lake and Alpine Lakes Basin. I would definitely recommend microspikes for Knife Point Glacier. A lot of people get away without it, but it really made the traverse up and over it so much more efficient, way more efficient than all the rock hopping and to get from Alpine Pass to the glacier. And like I said, Blake did not bring his spikes, but there was a literal godsend for us. It felt like a godsend, indeed divine intervention, as we were coming over Alpine Pass and descended down it quite a bit, where you could really fan out to whichever way you want to go. And I look over to the right, and sitting on a rock about 25-30 feet away, something that didn't look normal, and took a few steps closer, and it was a pair of black diamond crampons that somebody had abandoned. There was nobody else around. We'd only seen two other people back at the outlet of the upper lake who was heading southbound, and so Blake didn't have his spikes, and I had been hoping and praying that we would have the strength and stamina to get through that day. It had been super hot in the days up, nothing but sun until that day. It's incredibly hard to stay hydrated and keep the electrolytes in us. So that was a day being the most physically exhausting, where we got cloud cover just in time to cool off the hardest parts of the day. So it cooled things off for us. We got a pair of crampons for Blake to go up and keep up with me with my spikes. And not only that, but Blake had rolled his ankle the day or two before coming down to Golden Lakes, and it was super swollen, super red, super purple, and really just looked like it was impossible to walk on. And he said that foot felt better than the other. So between those three things, I don't know how we didn't have divine intervention for that day. And then getting out yesterday, going over Cube Rock Pass, we got caught in a flash thunderstorm, and trying to get down to where we wanted to camp for the night. What started as light drizzle and rain quickly became thunder and hard rain, a little bit of hail, and then lots of lightning flashes and cracks of thunder all over us and around us as we were wading through a river that had once been the trail, and then going down all these wet rocks and boulders to get off that pass and down into below tree line. And that was another adventure in itself. Super scary, but really dangerous actually, not just from the lightning threat, but there were big boulders being dislodged from the mountain on the other side of the canyon we were coming down, and I was just hoping and praying nothing was going to drop from our side onto us. That would have been bad. And then just the wet rocks and boulders from all the rain was just super slick. You really had to watch your footing. And again, just feeling very fortunate, very blessed to make it out in the condition that we are. Just the aches and pains of a very long, exhausting, physically challenging backpacking trip. But those are the risks that you take with a trip like that, through that kind of terrain, on that kind of a route. So I do not recommend this kind of route to the casual backpacker. I would really, if I were to do it again, and I don't know if I ever will, but if I were to do it again, I would definitely do more to prepare myself physically to make those passes a little bit easier and just the going a little quicker. I would pack even lighter. I didn't pack as light as I could have, and that was on purpose. I wanted to take lots of video and pictures, and so I could leave a lot of the photography, video stuff at home, and a few other little luxuries. And I could definitely pack better on my food. We both packed a lot of calories. I packed, for what was to be 2,500 to 3,000 calories a day, and thinking, okay, we've got all these passes, it's going to be a lot of energy exerted, I'm going to be really hungry doing all this, and I'm going to need that energy. Well, all that exhaustion, all that energy spent getting up and around all the obstacles we did, those middle parts of the trip, Blake and I were both not very hungry when we should have been eating snacks. And I took a lot of these really dense energy and protein bars, and when you're not that hungry to begin with, your stomach's just tight and a little bit nauseous from the physical exertion and the nervousness of what's coming. You know it's a big challenge. You know where to go, but you're not sure how bad it's going to be. And there's just all that nervous tension and anxiety a bit mixed in with all of that. So really hard to try and eat and try to force yourself to eat. And those energy bars, those protein bars that I had, the texture of them just, it was all I could do to force myself to eat what I could. And then it was just gagging and dry heaving and just not good. So carried a lot of extra weight out in the form of food that I did not plan to be packing out. I had hoped to have most of it eaten by now. And so that was unfortunate. A lot of extra weight being packed out. And then to top it off, last night's rainstorm wet everything out except for my sleeping gear. And now I had to pack out a wet tent, a wet pack, some wet clothing that still got moist with all the humidity and condensation through the night. And so I was probably packing out a couple extra pounds of water weight in my gear. And so really felt it on the hike out today. Was really looking forward to a quick feather light pack with a quick walk out, and that didn't happen. The pack felt about as heavy as it did to start the trip because of all that. So quick gear note here, platypus quick draw filters. Blake and I were both using those. I wanted to try it out against the Sawyer Squeeze that I had been faithfully using for so long. And I'll just say it had been working flawlessly until yesterday, I think. I noticed that ended up springing quite a leak on me right at the seam of the neck and the bag where a weld just wasn't done strong enough or something. So I have to reach out to Platypus, see if they can replace that for me. And yeah. Anyhow, those are my final thoughts. We're gonna get going here. We're gonna head back into Pinedale, grab a meal. Cannot wait to get back to our homes, to our families, our kids.
Yeah.
So guys, that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the video there. Magnificent scenery. So, till next time guys, happy hiking. Thanks for watching.